maybe we just stream something else today. She was born yesterday. She was. Okay. Hey, it was like 3 games since we had a DC. It was pretty good. Fair Jen? Yeah, wasn't that cool how she was just imprisoned there? Yeah, no, I'm definitely not streaming another hour. Wow. She was really trusting I wasn't gonna tunnel her, I guess. Are you fucking serious, man? You give up already? God, I almost wanted to slug you out of spite, but I'm still gonna be nice. She's probably just gonna go to the corner now. I can probably farm a stack off of her. That's good.
I am.
Where's Specular been? I have no idea. I'm sorry, is that chase not long enough for you, Claudette? That works. Ah! Here we are again. Hi guys, Scott here. It just seems like every 3 months we're in this exact same scenario where a new killer comes out, I enjoy the new killer, everybody hates the new killer, so I can't play the new killer. And then it effectively is like there's just no new killer at that point. Now, previously, it used to be there were some killers I enjoyed playing that I stopped playing literally out of the goodness of my heart. Like, I loved Ghoul. I've been asking for a Spider-Man-esque killer for years and years and years. Go back to any video of me, like, answering the question, what do you want to see in a killer? It was basically the Ghoul. And so that came out, everybody fucking hates the Ghoul, and I was like, I guess I just won't play the Ghoul because everybody hates the Ghoul, and I don't want to make everyone miserable. And then I kind of just stopped caring. Like, I made a video like a couple weeks ago where I just said the community broke me. And I just don't give a shit anymore. I really don't care about anyone else's fun. I'm just going to just play the game because, you know, I was nice for 8 years. And what did I get for it? Absolutely nothing. I know you're not supposed to be nice to get something for it, but after 8 years, it's just, there's no reason to deny my own fun anymore when all I do is just get shit on for it. So what's the point? The problem is this is not that type of situation where I just stop playing it out of the goodness of my heart. The problem is I can't even fucking play the killer against human players because every time I play this killer, someone disconnects, like every other game. I legitimately went to my last stream for where I got those clips from. In exactly half of my games, there was a disconnect within the first couple of minutes of the match, so the match is just completely ruined. So half of my games were ruined. And this is how it's been pretty much since he's come out. Maybe the first day because people didn't learn that it was okay to hate him yet or something. But then ever since then, 50% of my games, someone disconnects against this killer, typically the first person that gets hit. And I've tried going back and looking at a lot of these clips as to what specifically is causing it. I thought maybe the Hex build people don't like. I know Hens is using like a super powered version of my build that runs like Pentamento as well, and maybe people touch a totem and see Thrill the Hunt, and they're like, oh fuck, you know, I don't want to deal with this because it's a really good build. Even though it's not the build I'm running, they just might think it's that, and they're just miserable with that, so they just don't want to play against that. Maybe, except that's not true because almost all of the disconnects I get are usually within the first minute, and it's the first chase before someone's even touched a totem to see what my perks even are. So I don't really think it's the build because it usually happens before they even know what I have on my character. Now, I tried gauging some of the actual individual hits like that one, where it looks like they're outside the circle and they get hit. Maybe people feel like they're being robbed. Just after this hit here, this Dwight disconnects, because I thought maybe he felt he was being robbed there. But if I actually go back and look at the clip, it's coming down to a lack of understanding about how the hitboxes in DBD work. For those who don't know, basically your hitbox is like if someone put a popsicle stick on your spine and stuck it straight up. So if you're injured, your character is like bent like this, but your hitbox is still here. So it looks like your hitbox is kind of lagging behind you. And when you have that type of scenario plus a tiny bit of ping, it looks like you're getting hit from really far away when you're not in range of things, but you actually are, according to how the game works. Is that how the game should work? No, probably not. It should probably have more accurate hitboxes, but the last time we tried that, Hunter's hatchets just phase through people, so they clearly seem incapable of doing that, so we have to settle for the pill hitbox that they've been using since 2016. That's just how the game works. Knowing how that works makes it a lot less frustrating frustrating to go against, at least in my opinion. But maybe the developers, to make that make more sense, can just make the visual of his circle bigger and not change the hitbox at all. That way people will like see, oh, okay, I was still in the circle, because technically, according to how the game is programmed, you are in the hitbox. It just looks like you're not in the hitbox, because again, it's visually, it's kind of silly how it looks. I completely don't fault people for that, but simple fix for that, maybe ease some frustrations. Behavior can make the hitbox or the actual circle graphic a bit wider, but not change the hitbox so the hits are actually hits when they look like they're hits, you know? Just simple visual parity is something that can maybe ease those types of complaints. But I really don't think it is anything specific like that. I don't think it's like the builds. I don't think it's the hitboxes. I don't think it's the rapid fire nature of it. I think it's just entitlement. It's just what it is. I'm not having a good time against this killer. I'm going to leave. I am so sick of people disconnecting. It is driving me to just not want to stream Dead by Daylight. I've made several videos about this, but again, anytime there's new content, because I get bored of the game. If there's nothing new for months and months and months, obviously, as someone that plays it pretty much every day, I get bored. There's only so many things you can do without new stuff. So when we get a shiny new toy that I actually enjoy playing, also I enjoy playing against him too. I feel like I'm one of 3 people that enjoy playing against them. But when I get a new toy that I can actually play and have fun with, I'm just met with this shit, and I just can't enjoy myself at all because I don't want to play against bots. I don't want a PvE game where the game is just doomed. There's no like fun if it's a guaranteed win. It's like going into Skyrim and typing TGM in console and just slapping Alduin in the face. Like, oh yay, you did it. Cool. What the fuck was the point? You just skipped the whole challenge of getting to that point. It's just not entertaining at all to me. Maybe people that really enjoy wins and that's it. That's all they care about. Find that great, but it just completely kills my drive to want to play the game. So I just think, again, it's an entitlement issue. And I'm at this point where I think the only real solution here is we need to be even stricter with the DC penalties. I can't believe in 2026 I am actually saying that, because I used to have a very staunchly anti-disconnect penalty mindset, because my whole theory is you can't punish people, or sorry, you can punish people. You can't force people to play a game they don't want. And I mean, that's still true. I bet if we have a scenario where the DC penalties are made more strict, we'll have people just AFKing under the hook instead. But at the very least, that's reportable. You can report them and they will get suspended for just not playing the game. And if people are dying on hook too quickly, they actually get automatically timed out now. So there's actually shit in the game now that can at least help alleviate that a bit. But seriously, I do think it's so stupid that this is what we have to do. But the DC penalty, my hair is just not working today. The DC penalties, I do think, have to be more strict. I don't think there's another way to do a broad change like that and have it fix the issue. Because I think as it works right now, it's like every 10 games you get another free disconnect, basically. Every 10 games you get like a good boy stamp and you're allowed to disconnect in a game. But if you think about it being divvied up between 4 players, that means basically, you know, 50% of your games then, because it's almost 1 to 5, and then out of 10 games, basically 50% of your games could feature a disconnect in which no one is actually being punished. Like, they're just getting the initial small ban, and then that's it. So that's, I think, the problem. It's because there's so many players involved in the game. Yeah, individually, one guy can't DC more than once every 10 games, but with 4 separate players, that means almost every other game you can have someone DCing with no actual penalty. And I think that's the issue. So I actually think it should be, your first DC penalty should just be 5 minutes. Just straight up. Just no more excuses. I used to think it would be bad because hackers could hold you hostage, but if nothing has happened in 10 minutes, you can actually abandon now. So you're actually not really held hostage anymore. You can just go, I don't know, jerk off for 10 minutes to come back and then actually abandon the match without a penalty. So that one caveat is not really in the game anymore. So legitimately, I do think you could actually make the DC penalties more strict now, and it would be fine. I do think it should come with one change, though. Whenever the first person disconnects, any subsequent DCs in the match shouldn't be penalized, as long as they are not in a survive with friends. If they're in a group, then they all should share the same penalty. But if in the solo queue, someone DCs at the start, you shouldn't have to just stay in a doomed match. I think that's silly. I think it's a lot nicer to just go next and just have the next game start a lot quicker than drag out a doomed match. I find that boring. No one has a chance of winning on the other team. It just sucks. So I would love to see that happen. So stricter DC penalty on the first down, or on the first disconnect. Same thing at this point, really. and then we'll make it so that subsequent people in that lobby that are not in that person's group are able to DC without any subsequent penalty. I think that's probably the most fair way to do it. But I can't believe I've been driven to a point where I want much more strict DC penalties, but I think that's legitimately the only way to deal with this. And I do think there is a lot of it because, I recently tried to do a no disconnection streak and I played only Wesker and I got to 13 in a row without a disconnect, which is insane. People love Wesker and people do hate the new Vecna. So I don't know how to reconcile these things without telling people like that. I actually don't know. You just have to punish them. I know a lot of people don't find it fun. I'm at this point where I'm just saying, well, too fucking bad. It's a killer in the game. Deal with it or stop playing for a week or two when people stop playing the killer. Just like, I don't know. I'm just completely out of sympathy for it at this point. It's funny because every time I say this, someone's like, well, 16 years ago, you told people to DC against Skull Merchant, and that's true. I did tell people to disconnect against the hour-long server timeout 4 or 3 gen Skull Merchants because that was basically torture and wasn't even people trying to optimally win. It was just people essentially torturing for survivors. So I said, in that scenario, you should probably be able to disconnect. But again, that was 4 years ago now, and I haven't shared that opinion since then. So I don't know why people keep giving me shit for that one example, but I just a little aside there. Either way, I think other than making people think that the killer is more fun, which is very hard to do, I think a lot of it does come down to people just don't know how to go against the killer. And to be fair, the correct counterplay is not particularly exciting. It's a lot of just like holding forward and looking behind you and kind of like shimmying left and right and not, committing to any one direction. So the gameplay is not exactly thrilling and it boils down to a lot of 50-50s. But I still think that's more fun than it just being a pinhead that just holds his power and zones you with it and then just M1s you. Like, I still think it's more fun than that. So that's why I think the killer's fun to go against. It's a lot of, reading each other very quickly, a lot of 50-50s. And I know people, when I say that too in my chat, they brought up how I didn't think Spirit was fun despite her being 50-50s. But my whole argument back then was it wasn't 50-50. It was like 80-20 in favor of the Spirit. The Spirit had way more information back then before directional audio than the Survivor did. So that's why I found that unfun. But the actual 50-50 now, which it kind of is at the moment, I think is fine. I don't have an issue with that. But I don't know, man. I'm just really getting tired of this shit. Like, anytime there's something new and fun, I just don't get to play it because people disconnect every game. Again, I understand and sympathize with the fact that he may not be fun to go against, but that doesn't mean you get to disconnect for it. Just because it's not fun doesn't mean you get to disconnect just whenever you want. And honestly, I'm just so sick of people doing it that I want them to be punished more. Yeah, I don't know. You can say whatever you want. I don't care. I'm just sick of it. I just have no more sympathy. So that's it. See ya.